welcome to Curiousaholic. My name is Heiko. Joined here with my buddy Evan.
Hey there, beautiful people.
So, before we get into today's episode, here's a quick rundown of how the podcast works. So, in each episode, one of us comes up with an interesting topic that they are curious about and reveals it live to the other person in the hopes to spark a deep discussion and further our knowledge of the world around us.
I stole your line there.
Yeah, you did. I was like, wait a minute. I was having like a weird moment there. I was like,
A flashback.
I'm like, wait, isn't that supposed to be from me? I'm like, okay, I'll just keep going. But yeah, it's all right. You can.
That's the proof that our podcast is not staged.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because that was a genuine reaction.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so ready for today's episode?
All right, always ready.
As always.
Let's go.
So let us begin. I'm going to put a little riddle up because I like riddles. I should be called Mr. Riddle.
Mr. Riddle.
Or what was that? What was that character? Batman, the Riddler. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Riddler.
All right. So riddle me this. Okay. So I can crawl but not swim. I am tiny but mighty. I am part of millions of others, but only care that one of us makes it. Death is only in our process. My goal is not exclusive to me. It is of our collective. The one who makes it for all. What am I?
Wow.
That's an elaborate riddle.
That's pretty elaborate and pretty confusing at the same time.
Is it? I tried to be a bit.
Oh, you created this?
Yeah, I created this.
That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It sounded like something written like from a famous author or some shit.
Oh no, actually, I thought it through. Like, it took me maybe 20 or so minutes, and
that's pretty good.
But
Okay.
yes, I was trying to be like slightly confusing, but still give some hints. I mean, I'm not sure if I made it well enough.
It's pretty good. I mean, like
yeah.
Like I thought it was someone that wrote it, like some famous guy.
No.
Hey, you are pretty famous.
Oh shit! Thank you. So yeah, any guesses?
Okay. I can crawl but not swim. I'm tiny but mighty. A bug? An insect.
I mean, yeah, they're tiny, but what is tiny but mighty is part of millions of others, but only cares that, read the rest as well, but only cares that one of us makes it.
Sounds like God.
Wait, is God part of millions of others?
Well, he is.
Oh, yeah, true. There are millions of other gods. But okay, what about the rest?
Death is only a process. Okay.
Is only in our process.
Is only in our process.
Yeah.
Okay. My goal is not exclusive to me. It is of our collective. Huh. Interesting. The one who makes it for all.
I think I better make this it's more convoluted than it should have.
I mean, yeah, it's not convoluted. It's just like if there's a lot of different ideas going on, and it's hard to like put them together.
Yeah, pinpoint. Okay. I don't know if I should give you like a hint.
Give me a hint.
Okay. I guess it's nothing to do with the animal kingdom. It's related to humans.
Okay, that's what I figured. Because I guess that's what our topic's usually about. It's not usually about insects.
Yeah, true. Well, it could be if there's an interesting insect out there.
Yeah,
killer insect.
That was my first guess, though. Ironically.
Oh yeah.
I said insects earlier.
Oh yeah, I know. I heard you, but yeah, no, it's not the. It's not the insects. But yeah, it's related to humans. I think that's pretty much enough.
Okay.
Maybe I could give you after that one last hint if you want it, but then it's over.
Could it be about like... I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, one last hint is related to men.
Oh, okay. Is it about the book you're reading about... Am I gonna do like last time where you said completely the wrong thing and you mentioned No Nut November?
No, yeah.
Okay,
say it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about like testosterone and like how sperm cells are decreasing.
There you go. So the answer was sperm.
All right, let's do it. Okay.
I'm tiny but mighty.
Oh, okay.
Get it?
Yeah. So, yeah, so this is about the book you're reading, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, today it's not like specifically about sperm. Today, what we're going to be talking about is endocrine-disrupting chemicals,
Okay.
aka
That's really interesting, yeah.
EDC. So, these chemicals that disrupt, the sperm that men have. And yeah, the book that I'm reading as well about this is called Countdown by Dr. Shanna Swan, which, talks about this very much in detail, and it's very sobering and very worrying as well, what's happening. So I wanted to discuss about this and, bring awareness. I've already told you about this like a lot,
Right, yeah.
but I thought it'd be nice to do an episode.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Because I was already fresh from the finishing off reading the book. I'd done like a ton of notes, so I was ready to delve into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a good topic. But wait, are we gonna talk about like PEDs or not?
No. We're not gonna talk. No, not the performance enhancing drugs. We're gonna talk about like how these chemicals in our environment affect
certain chemicals,
Yes.
not necessarily PEDs. Okay.
No, exactly. We're gonna, have an overview of like male and female fertilities, how these chemicals affect, what we can do, the solution. So we're gonna, cover everything
Interesting.
in the
Cool.
episode.
Sounds
All right?
good.
Okay, so let's begin by first kind of explaining, what EDCs are, right? So they are endocrine disrupting chemicals that are found in basically everyday products and goods, such as, get ready, plastic containers, furniture, personal care items, plastic bottles, tin cans, processed food, shower curtains, PVC hoses, non-stick pans, air fresheners, and a slew of more items that negatively affect the endocrine, which is the hormone system.
Wow, that's a lot of items.
That's a lot of
I'm
items.
sure there are way more. That's the worst part.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said a slew of more items. So that's just like the tip of the iceberg of, where these chemicals can be found. And yeah, that's why it's so worrying, because they're so ever present in literally everything that we do, even the food that we buy from the store, just the packaging it comes with, like even the way the food is processed in the manufacturer, like the pipes that they use. Like let's say a food passes through a pipe and that pipe has those chemicals, it's already transferred
It's going to
automatically.
contaminate it.
It's going to contaminate, yeah. So yeah, it is something that's difficult to get rid of. So, I thought we could talk about it and raise awareness, because yeah, it does affect a lot.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a topic that's necessarily talked about a lot, right? It's just it's kind of like an underground thing going on, and
yeah, slowly
yeah.
some people are realizing about this. It doesn't have that same exposure as like climate change,
right? Yeah.
Which I find this kind of to be as threatening,
because
that
it endangers our species literally, right? Like,
yeah, which we'll discuss. Is it or is it not? Should we be worrying about this? All right, so we'll talk about that.
Cool.
All right. So first off, some scary facts about fertility. So since 1950, fertility rates have been dropping by 50%. So that means almost 1% or more each year.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot. So they say, by 2050, around half of the population could have almost no sperm count or very little, and most men could be in the lower range of sperm count. So that's a worrying statistic to think about. If it has decreased by 50% since 1950, well, imagine in 50 years.
Yeah.
Almost gonna go down to,
especially like in the society we live in, with all these new, things that might affect our health in general. So
there's just so many things to worry about in the modern age, right? So
that's wild.
That's one fact. Men today have lower sperm counts than their grandfathers had.
Oh, I believe that. My grandfather was a man's man.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When we think of older men from older generations, we think them as virile, fertile, very, why do they have like 17 kids, right?
Yeah.
But so the sperm count back then, like in the 1940s, 50s, was like 100 million to 200 million sperm cells per like the milliliter whatever sperm. But today it's maybe like 15 to 50 million. Some men can still have 100 million, but the threshold has been lowered to 15 million.
Okay.
Whereas before the threshold was like, oh, you're normal, you have 100 to 200 million sperm cells.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite a significant drop there.
Big drop. Yeah. Another thing that's been happening to men is a lot of men also have shorter AGDs, which is the anal genital distance.
Anal genital distance.
Anal genital, yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Also called the gooch.
Oh, anal.
Anal genital.
Oh, okay, I heard something else.
Yeah. I don't know what you heard.
I heard. Okay, I'm not gonna say it.
Ain't.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying.
anal is for
Okay.
anal.
Okay, yeah. We're understanding the same thing.
Yeah.
And apparently that's what it means as well. Sorry if that was unclear, but yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna keep this PG.
It's okay. It's just the medical terms. I'm not, being dirty. So the anal genital distance, what it says, is the distance between your genitals and,
Your rectum.
Your rectum, yeah. And even if that might seem kind of a weird thing, like that distance, does it really matter? Yeah, apparently, the shorter it gets, the more significance it has. It's like a signal. It says, okay, you have lower testosterone and you haven't been developed properly. And
Is that because of this could be an entirely stupid question, but let's say honestly, let's say you don't work out your glutes, right? Could that change the distance?
No. This is like permanent. This is when you are born and
okay.
you have that distance that is set. Well, when you grow up, it'll be set like that. Like you can't change the distance, throughout your adulthood. It doesn't work. What the hell? I
so
did
funny.
a glute workout and now it's like stretch. No.
Okay.
It's
a fixed value.
Yeah, it's a fixed value. That distance it's set, when you're born. Oh, that's hilarious. And so we'll maybe talk about that a bit more after. And also shorter penises.
Yeah.
So that is something that a lot of men fear to have, but improper development during pregnancy, if you don't get the right amount of testosterone when you're growing, it can affect that size as well.
Yeah.
So
I heard something from yours truly, Derek, More Plates, More Dates, that the fatter you are, the more you have fat surrounding your penis,
Okay.
and it actually makes it look smaller. So just the fact of a lot
Just
of people being
overweight.
obese actually affects that as well.
Oh, okay. But at least that can be corrected to some extent.
Yeah, but it's still bad in a sense because doesn't that make you less prone to procreate if you're not attractive in that sense? You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, obviously, fertility rates have been dropping since the 50s. And the author said that, yes, there's reasons of people choosing not having babies, or maybe, I don't know, the reason of if you're obese, maybe you're not an attractive mate for a woman to have babies, whatever. But she said, even if people are choosing to have less babies, there is still a drop in the amount of babies had across all ages.
Okay.
So, So yes, you're stating that as a lifestyle factor that can affect.
So they're saying baseline, these factors have changed since the 50s, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're born, we have a predisposition to have these things going on nowadays compared to before, right? So life factor changes don't necessarily are not accounted for in this.
Yeah, well, the AGD and the size of your genitalia, that is determined when you're in the fetus.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what we're looking
Yeah,
at.
of course, men, they try to find ways in adulthood to enlarge their whatever, but that still doesn't deny the fact that you didn't get enough testosterone and the development didn't happen properly. But anyways, we'll get more into it. Afterwards, regarding women, so 35-year-old women in 1930 were more fertile than their 20-year-old counterparts today.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Because
So that's
usually,
another-
you would think that in your 20s, that's when you're kind of prime time, right?
Exactly. So today's prime time women are considered less fertile than women who were past their prime in the 30s.
Wow,
So-
that's crazy.
That's already an indication. And then, yes, by 2050, a lot of couples will need assistive reproductive technologies, ARTs, to bear a child. Example, IVF or IUI. I guess you've heard of
Yeah, I know what these are.
in vitro fertilization, which is, they basically put a tube inside the woman's, uterus with the sperm and they try to fertilize it. And then the IUI, I forgot what the full thing was, but it's basically they take the egg, the sperm outside.
Yeah, right. They make it in a test tube and then
They put it back
reimplant
in.
it,
Yeah. Which is crazy to think, like, how did they even do that?
Yeah. We've come a long way.
I mean, it's fantastic, yeah, for people who want to have a child and, you know, they're not able to, but it's scary to think that a lot of people will have to rely on that in the future if we don't
Exactly.
do something.
But is the reason that we have to rely on these technologies because of what we're stating before? Like, you know what I mean? Is it necessary to have these technologies if it wasn't for this that we're talking about right now? You know, we have like all these assistive technologies.
Oh, okay.
But would we need to use them that much if
if we didn't have
these
EDCs,
factors? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's fine to have these technologies because I think some people will just generally not be
having
fertile.
issues. Yeah.
But if we're seeing a drop of fertility across all ages, across time, then that means, you know, something is going on.
Yeah.
But I think even if our fertility was okay, you know, for years to come, it's fine to have these technologies for the people who need it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That's what I'm saying is we need them because perhaps we have less fertility.
maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Consequence.
Yeah.
Not in consequence, actually, kind of like.
What you think, like, you know, if those chemicals weren't there or whatever, if everything was perfect, we wouldn't need these technologies.
No, there would be some, you know, some cases where you probably do need them.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
I'm saying the wide use of it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Maybe it wouldn't be used as much, and maybe
Exactly.
this statistic wouldn't be here saying in 2015.
that's what I'm saying.
A lot of couples,
Yeah.
So, anyways, all right. So let's move on. So now let's look at male and female fertility, kind of how they work, what is at stake. All right. So when it comes to male, right? So there's like three things to consider. There's your total count of sperm. So how many sperm cells you have, you know, when you're doing the business, and then, you know, the sperms come out. It's at that moment, how many sperms do you have? So that's one thing. Motility is the other factor. Motility means how well are the sperms.
swim, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, I've heard that it's not swimming, it's crawling.
Okay. Well, how fast they crawling?
Yeah, exactly. That's why my riddle, I said I can crawl but not swim.
Oh, okay. Ah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that why babies crawl?
You know, apparently, like,
I feel like it's stupid, like really stupid talk about this topic.
no, but it's funny. You know, when you said that, it reminded me in the book, it said apparently the first doctor, whoever, like, you know, checked the sperm under a microscope, he thought that the sperm cells were miniature humans ready to grow.
Oh, that's weird. Like a tadpole.
Yeah, like a tadpole, like little humans, you know? So when you said a baby's crawling, yeah.
That's so
me of
weird.
that. But yeah, so the motility is important. So how well they can crawl up the uterus and get to the egg, because some sperm, they go round and round and round. So it's like revving the engine. You go nowhere, okay? And others just don't move. Just sit there.
Well, they're not okay. So they have no motility.
So even in the sperm, you have the athletic ones, the average ones, and then the lazy couch potato ones.
Yeah, it's true.
Yep. And then you have morphology, which is the shape itself of the sperm. So the you know, sperm has a certain shape, you know, a head, tail. Sometimes they can have a split head. They can have two heads. They can have half a head.
Okay.
They can be all sorts of weird forms, really.
Interesting.
So
You have
all
any
of
pictures?
yeah, I should have put one. I mean, there is on Google if you want to Google it.
We'll put it in the editing.
Maybe we'll put it on the video. So yeah, all these three factors, they determine the overall quality of a man's sperm. Okay, so it's not about, oh, I have 300 million sperm. Okay, but do they move well? Are they shaped well? That's
Yeah. Can you imagine like men would boast about that? Like, I have more sperm than you.
Yeah, what's your sperm count, bro?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
That'd be really weird.
I mean, I bet some men would do it. It's just anything
Yeah.
to like,
Boost their ego.
yeah, compete against. So yeah, the way also sperm is produced, all right, men start producing sperm after they hit puberty, and that continues until their death. So that's why, you know, you can see men, you know, in their 60s, 70s having a baby. And oh yeah, I don't know, did I give you that example of the oldest person ever to have a baby?
I think you discussed it off air, but I don't think you discussed
Did
it
I discuss it off air?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, okay. Well, okay, maybe just to mention during the podcast, yeah, the oldest, you know, father was 96 years old.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
Okay, yeah. And he was from India. And that was his second baby that he had. His first baby, 94.
Wow.
So
yeah.
he went up until 94, had his first child, and then the second child at 96, and the woman was like 49, I think. Yeah. 49, which is like a 40-something year.
Which is still pretty good for a woman.
Yeah, even for the women, it's like, wow, okay. Because, yeah, women, once you hit your menopause, it's done.
Yeah, it's pretty much done.
But 50-year-old, yeah, that's pretty good. And, I was just shocked to seeing that. And you know when and how this man died?
Yeah, you said that he died in a house fire.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I remember we did have this.
Yeah, we did.
It was so freaking funny. I was like, how did this man,
Yeah.
he wasn't going to die. Maybe he would have had a kid at 110. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, you live past 100 years, and then the thing that kills you is not something like,
your body
internal.
or disease. Yeah.
It's like
fire.
an external factor like that. It's such a weird, life is so weird.
Life is,
That's why we have this podcast.
because we're so curious about all the strange things.
Yeah, exactly.
Stranger things. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, men can have babies up until they're 100 years old, apparently.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean every man can. However, past 40, your sperm quality starts to decline. So, you can start to have mutated sperm, and just the count in general lowers. So yeah, men after 40, when they try to have a children, they can cause their women to have more miscarriages. You can have more chances of your baby having Down syndrome. So all those factors,
all those bad things.
yeah, start to increase. And yes, so what is the most important development period for a male's reproductive function? That's the first trimester of conception, which means from week 1 to week 13, when a woman's pregnant, that is very critical.
Okay.
So, if your wife's one day having a baby, that time you got to be like
Prime time for the man.
Yeah. Because damage then it's permanent.
Okay.
Okay. So if a male doesn't have enough testosterone that is provided during that, development period, then he might be born with just a lower sperm count. And anything he tries to do can't really change the fact. It's just set.
Yeah. For sure, some things are just set in stone when you're born, right? Like, nothing you do throughout life is necessarily going to affect that or change that.
It's sort of like genetically...
Yeah, genetically predisposed
to
have lower sperm count. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's on the male side. On the female side, so females as well have different things that affect their fertility. So their ovaries, which is where the eggs come from, their egg reserve, so the total amount of eggs, the fallopian tubes, that's where the eggs kind of travel. Yeah. And then the uterus, which is the end point, they all play a role. So if any one part doesn't work well, there's something wrong, then that affects how likely they are to get pregnant. Regarding their eggs, it's when they're born, that's the total amount that they have for a lifetime.
Okay.
So it's not like males who continually produce sperm.
I like the gesture you just did there.
Yeah, they keep producing. Whereas women, you're born with a set amount. Till you die, that's the amount. So
I heard over a man's lifetime, they'll produce something like 500 billion sperm cells.
Oh, yeah, possibly. Yeah, that makes sense.
500 billion.
That's a lot.
It's a crazy amount.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine, like, just picture this, how many men there are on the planet? So how many sperm cells there are on the planet?
Yeah, a lot of sperm.
So 500 billion throughout a man's lifetime. So 500 billion times, let's say half the men on the planet. So 3.5 billion, let's say. So do that math.
Oh, I can't. Oh my god. Yeah, that is a astronomically high amount of sperm cells. But yeah, I am part of millions of others, but only care that one of us makes it.
You should make it a popular riddle.
Yeah, I should publish that riddle.
Yeah, publicize it.
Actually, to be honest, I did try to find a riddle. I was like, sperm riddles.
I'm surprised that you couldn't find any, actually.
No, I couldn't, yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know, I guess it's not really
it's not a thing.
People.
There's only us that speak about that.
Yeah. Bunch of weirdos. Men, they keep producing their sperm, whereas women, when they're born, they have maybe around 300,000 eggs that they can release to be fertilized. And the way it works is that each month, a woman has her period, and then one mature egg goes down the fallopian tubes and waits for her, Prince Charming to come.
Yeah. What's crazy, you could almost like imagine how many times a woman has to go through that throughout her lifetime, like the menstrual cycle, just by thinking of how many eggs that she releases throughout her lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, each month you only release one egg, or sometimes it can be two, which can cause, twins. But to release one egg, they also lose like 1,000, around 1,000. Because it's like the way it works is that the ovary tries to, mature one egg, but then other eggs kind of, I'm not sure how the process works, but other eggs die off. So that's why even though you're like 300,000 eggs, that's a lot for her lifetime. Yeah, but each month there's almost 1,000 that dies off.
Yeah, like there's for sure, because it wouldn't make sense. That would mean that a woman would have to go through 300,000 menstrual cycles in her lifetime, which doesn't really add up.
Exactly. Which would mean that she could be fertile till she dies, technically.
It doesn't really make sense.
But no, that's why, 300,000, it seems a lot, but it's limited.
For sure, yeah.
That's why 40, 45, 50,
Pushing it, yeah.
So yeah, when an egg is gone, it's gone forever. But yes, fertility for a woman, it drops after the age of 35, and rates of miscarriage, Down syndrome, they all start to increase. And it was funny, like there was a quote from like a Spanish gynecologist in the book that said, okay, I don't want to be mean to women, but he said like women have a best before date of 35.
Yeah, well, that's such a
it's kind of
an old, I guess, like misconception. But it's weird because like you always hear that like kind of like street talk, like men get better with age and then women they kind of decline. But it's just because physiologically it's like that. We're not insinuating that men are better over time.
Or that women's worth gets less as they get old, or like if you don't have a baby, or if you don't have a baby early, you're bad. But it is the truth. Women, if they want to have a successful chance at getting pregnant and a pregnancy that's not riddled with other problems for their baby, it's best to have it, before 35.
For sure, yeah.
I don't think, we need to deny that fact. It's just the way biology works, and,
So would you say, this is maybe another stupid question.
Yeah.
So would you say that, like, in terms of the overall fertility health of both the man and the female, which one is more important? Is it the female fertility that's more important? Because you said that men could almost have, children until they're like 100, right?
Yeah.
But women, it's less than likely that happens, right?
This book, like the title is kind of focused on the lowering sperm count.
Yeah.
So she's kind of more focused on the male side, because I guess, because with males, because these EDCs, they're very anti-androgenic. That means they're very anti-testosterone. So it affects sort of men more. And I guess, if time goes on, if men don't have any sperm left, but maybe women still have eggs.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So, but no, she says really it's
both sides.
It's both sides. She says, it takes two to tango. You can't say, oh, females are not important, or... Listen, back in the day, people would always blame the women. If, let's say, a couple couldn't have a baby, oh, she can't, she has issues, I'm fine, I did my job, she's not able to conceive. But that's kind of outdated, because they say nowadays it's both parties, If one has an issue, or both of them, they can all affect.
Makes sense. No, I was just maybe thinking of that, since like it's the woman that bears the child, that maybe her reproductive health might...
like more important here
in a sense. I don't know. But I guess it's a two-sided problem, right? Like,
it's very much 50-50.
Yeah, it's just like if this testosterone is just declining over time, and men can't, properly produce the sperm, then how is a female going to have a child?
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't make sense. So even if her reproductive system and fertility is important for the man as well,
it takes the other side. Yeah, that's why. That's why both are very much important, and
I guess more like the timing of things. Like, for a female, it's important to have a child, like we said, before 50, more or less, or even like before 40, even 35.
Yeah, 35, 40. Yeah.
And I guess that's what's more important for the female, right? Just making sure not to wait too long.
Yeah, exactly. What was I gonna say? Yeah, for female, it's during her pregnancy that is very important for the future child. Yeah. So, but anyways, I also wanted to show this table here. When I said women have a best before date of 35, so here it kind of shows, as the woman's age increases, what the pregnancy rate per month is.
Okay.
So from 25 years old to 35, the rate of pregnancy each month is 25 to 30%. So 1 in 3 women can have a baby.
Yeah.
Between 25 to 35. When they get to 35, it's 1 in 4, 37, less, 1 in 5, 15%, 40, 10%, 45, 5%, and then 51%.
Yeah.
And then you see the miscarriage rate also increases dramatically as you age, and then the Down syndrome as well.
Wow.
Look.
Wow. That's so it goes. So if you have an age group between 25 and 35, you have 1 out of 900 chance of having a child that has Down syndrome.
Which isn't like a lot.
What do you mean?
Like
it's
the chances,
more common than you think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the chances aren't that,
Yeah, it's not that
small.
insane. But then you look at past 50, 1 out of 10 children are going to have Down syndrome. That's
scary.
Wow, that's scary.
So you have 10 women, 50, they have a baby, one of them is going to have Down syndrome. So, the risk you're putting, your child.
Wow, I didn't think it was that high.
It gets very high. I mean, look, even at 40, 1 in 100 chance of getting. So 1 in 100, which means
1%. 1% of people will have.
Okay, and then 110 would be 10%.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So
that's crazy.
So
to
it's
think
crazy.
about.
Yeah. Exactly. So, that maybe gynecologists didn't, express themselves.
Yeah, but hang on a second. Okay. Don't forget that, if you look at the rate at which you will deliver a child at that age is very low. So don't forget that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. So first, when you're older, you have a less chance of getting fertile,
Right.
getting
and out
pregnant.
of those babies that do,
that make it, there's that chance.
Yeah, there's that chance.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah, it's not as
crazy worrying, because first of all, you need to get pregnant. One.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's just something,
So I guess nature, kind of protects the human body in that sense, right? We don't want to deliver children that necessarily have, those ailments at birth.
Mm-hmm.
Then nature kind of controls that in the sense where you won't be able to even conceive at all.
You don't have the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe, yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean.
Nature's birth control.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, not to say that we don't want people like that, like people with Down syndrome. That's not what I mean.
No.
It's just,
but obviously, I don't think a parent, before having a child is
Right.
gonna be like, yeah, I want my child to have Down syndrome. No.
yeah, no one wishes that, and I guess right.
When your child does have it, you're not going to neglect it or not love it as much.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, can you imagine if we didn't have that protection, like Mother Nature's protection in a sense, and people past their 50s would
They still kept
they'd still
having
kept
babies a lot.
conceiving, and then how many people with Down syndrome would be born?
Yeah, which
That
would
would be really
tough
bad.
on parents.
So in a sense, nature kind of protects, limits that in a sense, which is interesting
I
to
guess
think
we
about.
could see it in that way.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool. Alrighty, so that's male and female fertility. So now let's look at the culprits, right? The topic of today. I know today's topic is the EDCs, but I did want to cover the fertility side.
All of it.
Yeah, all of it. All right, so the EDCs, right? There are 2 types here. There is first the persistent type of chemical. So these are what are called forever chemicals. They last for many, many years, like almost decades in the environment. They basically get stored in our body fat. If we inhale or it touches us, gets in our body, it stays in our body fat. And these include things such as POPs, which are persistent organic pollutants.
Yeah, I've heard of those.
You've heard of those, yeah.
In university, I had a class that, like, an engineering class about like environmental technology and stuff, and that was one of the parts that we studied. So
Yeah, which comes out of like industrial
Yeah.
manufacturing, or there can be many. Another one that's a DDT, which is a type of pesticide, which is also very persistent. And then PCBs, which are other types of industrial compounds. So many have been banned since 2004, but some are still produced or remain in the environment. So even if they were banned, as I said, they last sometimes for decades. So they
sure.
can be in our air, water supply, just in the environment, wherever, and people can store them, and then they transfer them, to their kids. Like one way they did like a study, they saw that women that had persistent chemicals in their bodies, when they were breastfeeding the baby, because it's stored in the fat, in the milk's fat, they transferred
transfer the
those chemicals
chemicals
to the babies
wow,
unknowingly.
that's not good.
When you're like thinking, oh, I'm giving breast milk to my baby, but yet I'm poisoning them, or I'm putting their health at danger.
Yeah.
It sucks to think about, but
Yeah.
that's how it works. So, but good thing, the first step what we took is to ban them, and see where that goes. But yeah, we need more effort for sure. The other one, okay, so the non-persistent one. So these are my favorite ones. Not really. Okay, they only last in your body 24 hours. Okay, so that's the good news, because they're not persistent. But since we continually get exposed through everyday products, the harmful effects add up.
Okay.
So that's how they damage us. And it only takes low doses to affect our health. People think, oh, if I'm not exposed to like high doses, or I don't inhale like a lot of it, I'll be fine. No, even just little, like very tiny doses can affect it. Why? Because the endocrine system works in very nuanced, minute.
Yeah, molecular and quantities.
You don't
Doesn't
need a
take
lot
much.
of testosterone to.
Yeah.
Derek could come in now.
Yeah.
Where are you, Derek? Where have you been?
You've been gone for a while.
Yeah, why haven't you been posting? Anyways, so yeah, some of these non-persistent chemicals, phthalates, these are everywhere.
Yep. Yeah.
These are plasticizers or stabilizers that are used in different products. Bisphenol A, BPA. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I've heard of all these chemicals from that class that I spoke about earlier.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you did have a
little background on this stuff.
class
Yeah.
on it. Okay. So the BPA is also used in a lot of bottles. Flame retardants and pesticide. Flame retardants, as the name says, they're there to stop things
Yeah.
from catching fire. So these chemicals, basically what their issue is that they act as, they're phonies, basically. They're mimicking testosterone.
Okay. Oh wow.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, so they mimic. So basically, they get into your body, and then they bind to your androgen receptors, and then they trick your body into thinking, "Oh, I have enough testosterone. Okay, I'm going to stop
Right.
producing testosterone." But wait a minute, no, you don't have testosterone.
Okay.
So that then inhibits other functions from,
Yeah.
It's
It's kind of weird that it attaches to those androgen receptors. Like, it just tricks the body. It's weird.
Yeah, it tricks the body. They're fakes, basically.
Yeah.
They pretend to be, testosterone, but they're
Right.
not.
Yeah, like because androgen receptors kind of live in your muscle tissues and your fatty tissues, I guess, and it just binds to those, like you said earlier, right? They store in certain fatty regions.
I don't know if the non-persistent one. No, the non-persistent ones, they're, I think, water soluble. I think.
Okay.
They kind of flow through your body, and then they get excreted out of your urine or any other ways.
Oh, okay.
That's why they don't stay in your body. Whereas the persistent ones, they stick and they get stored in the body fat. That's why they're
Okay.
more.
So one of them binds to the androgen receptor and the other one doesn't? Sorry, I'm just trying to understand.
Oh, the persistent ones? No, the persistent ones as well, they, affect. They have anti-androgenic or anti-estrogenic. Like the flame retardant is a bit of a weird one. It can be both anti-androgenic and estrogenic. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well, fun fact, having low levels of estrogen in a man is also bad. that
yeah.
could unbalance your hormonal levels as well.
Yeah.
If you have too low estrogen, it could cause a bunch of problems too.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So it's not just testosterone.
So yeah.
Like some men think, oh, I don't want to have estrogen, you know, like.
But you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of someone when I said that, but yeah.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of our friends thinks that like having high levels of estrogen is a bad thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, a man doesn't want to have high levels of estrogen
Right.
because
you know what I mean. Like too high is bad, obviously, but you still
none-
need some estrogen.
Well, like women also need some levels of testosterone.
Right.
You know.
Like if your body fat is too low, like on a man,
Yeah.
that could affect your estrogen levels, and that could be bad.
Exactly.
And also your testosterone levels, so it affects both.
But yeah, like with women, so kind of how these chemicals affect each one. So with women, I think the flame retardants one can they're more like anti-estrogenic, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So basically they lower the levels of estrogen. And here I wanted to bring the topic a little of gender.
Okay.
Of gender fluidity, right? You know, since the past decades, we've been seeing a lot of, you know, people coming out, you know, queer or trans or whatever, or they don't feel like a man or they don't feel like a woman. They have all these different behaviors, right? One, it could be just more openness in general in our society and culture, but there seems to be these factors as well influencing
Yeah, I'm sure.
the development of the brain. So they show that, you know, let's say if a baby girl was exposed to like flame retardants and her estrogen levels are lower compared to her testosterone, she's going to have more male typical behavior.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah.
You know, it's not to judge, you know, oh, you're bad or you shouldn't be like that. It's just, you know, think about it, you know. Yeah, I know some people would take this like, oh, you know, we're we're generating more
More what?
you know, more feminine women, feminine men, or
No. Yeah,
more
I mean,
masculine women. It's no, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not, you know.
yeah, but you guys get it, you know, like.
But we need to still be aware of the effects
Right.
that it has.
You're just trying to prove that there is a correlation between gender fluidity and, you know, the fact that these EDCs are affecting society nowadays, or, you know,
Yeah,
just the endocrine system for humans.
exactly. Yeah. So again, during the first trimester, which is a very important time, there's, you know, brain pathways that form into kind of you know, your feelings of how you feel as a man or as a woman, and if they're disrupted, then you'll feel confused.
Yeah, it makes
Or-
sense. I mean, I'm sure your sexuality isn't just, you know, behavioral in nature. Like, it could probably be influenced by these factors, right? Because bottom line, this is what controls it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like,
It's during your formative.
your hormonal levels in your body are gonna, you know, affect necessarily your the whole point of this podcast is to show how it affects, you know, the capability to reproduce and procreate. I mean, it's bound to have effect on general sexuality in general.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's not an abnormal thing to think about, or
No.
and it's not to discriminate against those people. It's just to like think about this. You know?
We already had a whole topic on gender fluidity and all that stuff.
Yes, one of our special practice episodes.
Oh, was that a practice episode?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Oh, you
know
thought
what?
it was part of our?
Could maybe release that one as well.
Yeah, like our last, you know, our first special that we released, which was episode 28.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cultural
Monoliths,
monoliths.
yeah.
Yeah. So we have 10 practice episodes that we've done, and once
Maybe
in
a special one for you guys.
once in a while we'll release one. Yep. So yeah, so as we see, like these chemicals do have a lot of impact on, you know, your fertility one, you know, your sperm count, your chances of getting pregnant, and just your gender.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, so people need to be aware of these. Anyway, so these are the bad guys. So what can we do about this? So kind of look at some of the solutions. So there's two categories, okay? So you have the lifestyle and then the environment.
Sorry, I saw something on a slide that made me laugh.
That's okay.
I won't say it though.
It's all right. just a little joke. So first lifestyle factor, not smoking. Okay, as we know, smoking just is bad. Okay, people just don't smoke. For women and men, if they smoke, their sperm count is gonna drop. The shape of their sperm is gonna be bad as well. So, if you can quit it. Also, secondhand smoking is just as bad as firsthand.
Yeah.
So if someone
They say secondhand smoking could even be worse.
yeah, they can be
Because when you're smoking, you have like a filter, right? That controls how many chemicals you're actually inhaling with each puff. But secondhand smoking, there's none of that. It's just
you're just
inhaling
inhaling
it
it straight. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of a cigarette, you have always there's a little filter part
Oh, okay.
that's built in.
Oh, I
And-
didn't know actually.
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, secondhand smoke is really bad. But obviously, smoking, like, you're gonna do it more frequently than getting the secondhand smoke,
secondhand,
right?
yeah.
So smoking obviously is worse than getting secondhand smoke. But for example, if you just
But if you live with someone
if you live with someone
constantly,
that could be really bad.
That could be really bad. Yeah. So for a pregnant woman, that is no. You do not smoke. Maintaining a healthy body weight. Okay, so that obesity, bar none, is one of the reasons fertility can drop both for women and men. For women though, they can't be like too skinny either. Like anorexia,
Right.
that can also mess up their menstrual cycle, their ovulation cycle. You're just not having the same rate of fertility if you're too underweight or too obese. They found, I think, like a 40% increase in fertility from women just losing weight to getting at a normal range.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So just being average, weight, you have a really higher chance of getting pregnant.
Makes sense.
Yeah. The third one, to be active, to move your ass.
Yeah, move your ass.
Just move, people. Like, yeah, I know. I kind of put something there with an exclamation point to say, like,
Get after it.
people really need to move. Like, it's just that as well helps a lot for a male, to keep his sperm count up, his testosterone levels going. Women as well, same thing. But for women, again, there's like a how do you say, a bell curve,
Yeah.
but like a flipped bell curve, where if they keep training a lot, then they can start having issues with their menstrual cycle.
Yeah, it makes sense. But I mean, even for men, if you're overtrained, it can't be that good for your overall reproductive health.
Yeah. Yeah, I think though,
Like, let's say you're just, you're training so hard, like you're depleted, you're cutting weight, whatever. That's just not good either, right?
yeah, true. Yeah, so it's like both extremes really aren't
Yeah. It's not good
ideal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess for women, women need to watch out that it might screw up their menstrual cycle.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
men don't really have that issue.
No. So, but she did say though, like, if men who work out vigorously, like, I forgot how many hours per week, but it was like more than 20, I think, like a lot, like almost athlete level. I think they said like their like fertility was like very high apparently.
Happy to hear that.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a good news. But she said, if you're a lazy person and you just start doing average, that's why I'm just saying, just move, people, just walk, okay? That already is a big jump. You don't need to be a freaking athlete level to have, the biggest, fertility.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so little activity is fine. And then, relating to our last episode, managing stress.
Yep.
Okay, so stress as well can affect a lot of things, fertility included. She does mention two types of stress, right? There is eustress versus distress. So I guess you can guess.
Yeah.
Can you guess what
Well, I mean,
is eustress and distress?
is eustress like internal stress?
No, actually, eustress is positive stress.
Oh, okay.
Distress is negative.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because from the last book I read, there's like things just contradicting ideas here a little bit. They,
yeah.
in a sense, they were saying there's no such thing as like good stress. It's more like acute stress, which is something that occurs on a daily basis that's not necessarily bad, but it's not like
Okay.
right.
What did she say about the eustress?
It's okay, we can let the authors debate about this.
Yeah, I mean, there could be some semantics involved, like, the way we describe the thing. But eustress, I think she just said, like, like stress, kind of like things where you're working on something and, you're trying to improve yourself, or
Things that are like stimulating, I
yeah,
guess.
more like stimulating and motivating and that kind, where it's not persistent, obviously.
Yeah, because I remember in the book, The Cost of Hidden Stress, there was one particular section of the book that the doctor, which is the author as well, he asked one of his patients, like, are you stressed? And he's like, no, just the good stress.
Oh.
Like, I only have good stress. And then the doctor's like, there's not really such a thing as good stress.
Yeah,
like,
the lines can be blurred.
Like, what I think you mean is, like a certain stress that's stimulating and maybe motivates you to do certain activities that will improve your health in the long run.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're like short bursts. They're just more motivating. I think that's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas distress, that's when you feel out of control, you feel sick, you just feel like you can't do this anymore. It's overwhelming, it's too much, or it's chronic. Then it's bad.
Yeah.
Okay. So ways that she suggests managing stress, delegating, saying no to things, not taking a lot of responsibility. Your work stress, she said that as well can have a lot of effect. But she also said one that helps a lot is social support. Having a community, having people to talk and to share things. Because she said there was an example of a study of men who had really high work stress, but because they had a big community support, they had zero issue.
Right. It's kind of like we were discussing last time, where emotional repression is one of the worst things you could do. And if you have a support group and you don't have as much emotional repression, then your stress levels is going to diminish.
You're able to control it. Yeah. So it's sort of not just what stressful thing is happening, it's how you're after dealing with it.
Exactly.
And managing it. Right. Okay. So that's the lifestyle factors that we can all try to improve. But then there is the environmental, right? Okay, so ways to reduce, our exposure to EDCs. Eating fresh home-cooked meals, okay? As much as we can, eating at home, we just generally have lower exposure to EDCs. Why? Because when you eat at restaurants, when you take takeout food, all the packaging, all the plastics, the gloves even they use, and just you don't know in the kitchen the way they prepared, what sort of contaminants, what touches, what doesn't. It's just going to be more contaminated with those chemicals than eating at home.
Right? Yeah, makes sense.
And as I kind of go on, I just find eating out sometimes, not really.
Yeah,
just sort of.
I like eating out.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah.
When you have someone to go out with.
Yeah.
But
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you got to try to, when I go out, it's not that often. I like doing it.
Okay.
But in general, I'm strict on my diet, right? So
okay. Yeah, obviously, you try to, I guess, offset that with you're training, you're generally healthy and fit. And,
no, but I also at home, the meals I cook are I just don't eat whatever.
You eat generally healthy
stuff.
Healthy stuff, yeah. Yeah, obviously, all of these things that I'm saying, it's these are all factors,
For sure.
If someone is overweight, smokes, and that's already bad. You know, even if they eat at home, bad.
This kind of reminded me of something. There's, I think it was on Vice TV or some shit on YouTube.
Okay.
This guy has a world record of the most Big Macs eaten in his life.
Oh, yeah.
He's eaten 32,000 something Big Macs.
And he's a skinny man.
And he's this skinny guy. Yeah. He's definitely eaten out quite a few times in his life.
Oh, he's got a lot of EDCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that guy. Well, I think he's in the Guinness Book of World Record.
He is.
Yeah, he's in the records. But yet he's so skinny. Go figure.
It's weird.
But you know,
I guess that's just, managing calories.
yeah, exactly. You know, it's not the Big Mac that makes you fat. It's
Right.
how many
It's
calories.
how many Big Macs you eat.
Yeah, how many Big Macs?
But obviously, try to eat healthy home cooked meals like we just mentioned, because
Yes.
just because you're eating the right amount of calories doesn't mean you're healthy, right?
Exactly.
There's that. There's so many other things going on, right?
Yeah.
There's
Even if you don't get fat off of Big Macs,
Exactly.
Big Macs aren't healthy for
like, I'll tell you the truth. The man that ate 32,000 Big Macs, do you think he's going to have a long life? He's what, in his 60s maybe?
I think, yeah, it was pretty, pretty
Yeah.
old.
I don't know.
I'd be interested to.
I'd be interested to see, but I mean,
Yeah, he's not
it
gonna
can't be
have-
healthy to do that.
Anyways, even if he does live long, it's
not
not
recommended.
it's not an example. It's an outlier.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Or there was some other guy. He's been eating mac and cheese for like
Oh
his
yeah.
whole life.
Isn't that someone like on TLC or something?
I don't know, some YouTube channel, or I saw some guy.
Oh, okay.
No, he's like another guy that has like a
Is that an eating
record or like an
disorder?
eating disorder or something.
Okay.
And he's been eating mac and cheese for 17 years every day. That's all he eats.
Kind of disgusting. Okay.
It's weird. Like,
weird, but I feel like that's borderline eating disorder.
yeah, and some people have issues like that.
Yeah. Because I know there's like a show on TLC where it shows like people who eat like very specific foods or don't eat any vegetables or anything else. Or I think one was like pizza every day, all day, just pizza.
Like My Strange Addiction, like eating mattresses and stuff like that. Like fucking weird things.
Oh, eat this mash. Nom, nom, nom.
There's apparently some girl ate like 8 mattresses in her whole life, like
Yeah.
full mattresses.
Oh my god. Yeah, I know. I saw that girl. It's like a chubby black girl, young.
Yeah, like
Well, she was pretty overweight.
yeah, for sure it contributes. I mean,
But
how do
yeah.
you digest that?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't understand some of those strange addictions where they eat these weird things like mattress.
Yeah, is there like any like calories in that? Like, think about it. It's,
Is
like,
there any? Oh yeah, does she get fat from that? Yeah, that
like
is-
it's no, she did. Like the doctor said that she got fat because of it. But how does that work? It's so weird. Like, does the body use any of that for energy? Probably.
Did she become a memory foam?
Oh,
Damn,
my.
girl, you comfy. I mean,
Yeah,
eating
this is one
that-
of those episodes.
the weird stuff we discuss. But yeah, it's like, where does that end up? Like, does she excrete that? I mean, I guess, but how?
Oh my god.
Yeah, how does the body even process that? I don't understand.
The shit is memory foam.
It's like a squishy kind of foam. What the hell are we talking about? Oh my god.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of the weirdest I saw that they eat. I mean, what else do they eat? Like glass. I mean, yeah, I've seen that. I know.
Bees. I've seen some guy that eats bee. Or no, he likes getting stung by bees purposely or
Oh,
something.
stung. Oh, okay.
Or some other guy. One girl was addicted to. Like those. What was it again? I think she was addicted to eating or sniffing those like
Gasoline. I think one was
I can't remember
sniffing.
what it was. No, she was addicted to like eating Vicks and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or smelling it or eating. Yeah.
Something like
Yes,
that.
yeah, that, or the women who sniffed gasoline, that too. Or I don't know if you heard of the one where the husband died and the ashes.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's weird. Anyways,
Yeah, she was putting that in her. Pretty bizarre. Yeah. So some people. Okay. Anyways, I don't know how we went to like mattress eating from.
because I said that like the guy that ate 32,000 Big
Oh,
Macs.
okay, yeah. Anyways, the point is, eat fresh, eat at home. She does say, that when you buy food from the grocery store, from the supermarkets, a lot of foods can also be contaminated with all the pesticide and chemicals from the processing. So buying any sort of packaged food, that's not, good as well. Anything that comes in a
Makes
package,
sense.
avoiding that. Afterwards, this is also a big one, reduction in plastic use. So plastic Tupperware, plastic containers, plastic bottles, plastic anything really. you have to think about it. And she also gives like this little thing that you can kind of sing to yourself to kind of remember which plastics are good and
Can you
which
sing it?
yeah, well, well, I mean, it's just like 4, 5, 1, and 2. All the rest are bad for you. Just a little expression. You know the codes. You know the recycling symbol. It's like a triangle with
Yeah.
arrows, and there's like a number in there. If it says 4, 5, 1, and 2, those are okay. The 3, the 7, the rest, they're not
Not
good.
good.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Those are the ones that contain the EDCs. Also, do not microwave plastics.
Yeah. Try not to.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, if you're gonna microwave stuff, put it in a ceramic bowl or a glass bowl or just plate.
That kind of brings a small tangent. I know we're kind of running out of time, but like
That's right.
that kind of brings up, doesn't radiation also affect like overall fertility? I know it's not necessarily directly like a
I know.
substance.
Yeah, there's that other issue of like radiation affecting your
Fertility,
testosterone
yeah.
and all that. I've heard about that. I mean,
Like I've heard different stories where some people live in the vicinity of like a nuclear plant, and that could affect their, fertility rate.
yeah,
and-
for sure. I think that can have an effect. Yeah. I mean, I haven't researched that in depth.
So I guess that's why the microwave potentially might have effects if you put a certain plastic in there.
No, well, basically, why the microwave and plastics are bad is because heat is basically what makes the phthalates get released.
Okay.
Whereas during the plastic releases slowly the chemicals, but if you put it in a microwave, it just speeds up
Okay.
exponentially.
Okay.
So you have more chemicals that leach into your food. So if there's one thing you can keep from this episode, do not put plastics in the microwave. You know how much I used to do that?
I used to do that too.
At
as well.
lunch, every time at work or at school, put the freaking thing in the microwave. And sometimes I would open up the cover and like, it's like freaking hot. And I'm like eating my chicken. I'm like, kind of tastes strange, Like, whatever. It shouldn't be bad.
Yeah. I mean, you don't think of those things when you're younger.
But, when I heard about, this woman and I told you how I like found out about the author and all that. It was from the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So last year, like around February, it's been a year almost. I just, saw this episode of Joe Rogan. I'm like, I'll click on watch this. And I just watch it and I just kept watching. It was like a 2-3 hour podcast. I'm like, wow, okay, this woman.
Oh, so she was on the podcast.
Yeah, she was.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh, I think now that you mention it, I think I did say it at some point. Yeah.
I sent you like this long message like afterwards when I watched it. I was like, man, you don't know what we're dealing with.
Yeah, I remember now.
You remember? Yeah. And I was like, how is this not more talked about? Anyways, afterwards, another thing to clean out from the environment is safer cleaning and personal care products. So anything that is phthalate, fragrance, paraben-free, or triclosan. That's what she said. Yeah, triclosan. So these are all, different chemicals that you should watch out. Anything, when you look at a ingredients list, right? If you see that it says fragrance, avoid that crap. Just throw it out. Okay? Because fragrance means that it contains phthalates. Because phthalates help kind of keep the smell.
Right.
And also, when you see fragrance, it doesn't say how it's composed. Because companies aren't obligated to disclose the ingredients in fragrance.
Oh, okay.
So fragrances can have up to 3,000 chemicals just in that.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's one thing, these chemicals to avoid. Cleaning dust in the house, that is also helpful. Why?
Note
Because
to self.
yeah. Oh yes. So I mean, I know for you, in particular, dust affects your
Allergies. Yeah.
breathing. Why dust is important is because dust traps all the chemicals inside your house, the phthalates, whatever that is exposed from products. They get stuck on the dust, and then you breathe the dust.
Inhale, right?
Yeah. So not only is dust unsightly, it's also, can be dangerous to your health. So clean up, people. Don't let freaking dust accumulate under your bed.
Yeah.
Like some people.
Oh, yeah. Not me.
No names, just, some people, they got a lot of dust accumulating under there. And also, last thing, avoid carpets air fresheners, and vinyl shower curtains.
Vinyl, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the old school like curtain.
Yeah, that's made out of vinyl. Anything vinyl, really. You just have to try to stay away from those. Or PVC. That's another
Yeah.
type of polychlorinated.
It's a very common like polymer.
Yeah. So PVC hose pipes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for your garden, that too can have the phthalates in there.
It's a very cheap material. That's why a lot of people use it.
Yes, a very very cheap, yeah, but it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
That's why it's bad. Air fresheners as well, they contain the fragrance. That's already something we need to get away. And carpets, yeah, carpets too. The way they're made, they can release a lot of gas. I think carpets in general should just be banned.
Yeah, because carpets also hold a lot of dust, right? So
Well, yeah,
there's also that.
like wall to wall carpets. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you thought like rugs?
Yeah.
No, like carpets, as in, those old houses
Yeah.
that have carpets all on the floor.
Oh, like okay. Yeah, I
That's what they
understand.
call it.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Like their floor is
Yeah.
basically all covered.
yeah. The floor is a
Right.
soft carpet. Yuck.
Yeah, like my stairs in my house, we have carpet.
Oh yeah, you do, huh?
Yeah, for the basement, we have carpet.
Oh yeah, true, you do. Yeah, take that shit.
I don't like it. I've never liked it. It's kind of ugly too.
It's old school as well. It's just out of fashion.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, as you see, there's a lot here to control, especially the environmental one. So, to close off, okay, a few questions that I want to ask. Okay. First, so why isn't this issue more talked about, do you think?
I guess just general exposure, right? It's just something that people are not necessarily aware of. Like, to be honest, I knew there were certain, chemicals and products that could affect fertility, but maybe not to such a wide scale like that. Yeah, and I think maybe it goes back to that old, conception, sorry, where people would think that only women, for example, would be the problem when they couldn't conceive, and they never thought that men potentially could also have issues with fertility. So maybe it's still that. Maybe we never even imagined that sperm count could decrease that much.
Yeah.
I almost never heard about this until you mentioned it to me.
Totally,
I
yeah.
kind of vaguely knew about this, but
not really.
not to this extent.
As detailed as this. Yeah, me, I had no clue. I was like completely. Yeah, I mean, I know some people have fertility issues or whatever. I just thought whatever. Some people, just
Unlucky.
not as
Yeah.
good. But I didn't think the effect was this widespread, and a lot of people were gonna have trouble having babies. I always thought it's easy. You just do the deed and it's done.
Exactly.
But no, not as easy. But yeah, why isn't this more talked about? I think people just haven't caught on to it yet. It's not the hot topic as like climate changes or other issues.
Yeah.
But I think this should be very much talked about because, kind of segueing into the second question, could this one day be the end of the human race?
Okay.
You mentioned it in the beginning, so
Did I?
yeah, you were like, oh, this could be, the end.
Oh, I
Of
don't
the
remember
human.
saying that. But yeah, if I did, well, I don't know if it would be necessarily the end, but it could definitely be a threat. That's for sure. I mean,
It could be a threat, yeah.
yeah, I don't think the end. Like, probably not. I think
Yeah.
we'd probably find a solution somehow.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, would we, in the future just rely on, everyone uses, technology
We
or
wouldn't want
most
that.
people? Yeah, we wouldn't want that.
It's not sustainable either, right? We don't have
Yeah.
the resources to provide that for everyone who wants to conceive.
Yeah, exactly. So there might be an unfair advantage of like wealthier people who will be able to have kids.
Yeah.
And again, you have this bigger disparity that's created. All the wealthies have kids and the poor just keep dying and,
Yeah.
and they can reproduce. But yeah, I mean, for now, I don't think it could be the end of the human
No,
race. I don't think we're in a situation of like the movie Children of Men.
I didn't see that.
You never seen that? Oh, that's a really good movie. Actually, I want to watch it again. But the premise is basically the whole world, nobody can have babies. Basically,
I think you already said this once. But
have
yeah.
I? Yeah. So basically, it's done. Like there's fertility is like, bar none, nobody can have. But there's this man who finds this woman who is pregnant,
Oh, okay.
who has a baby. So she's like the last hope kind of for humanity in a
Yeah,
way.
because if she doesn't conceive her child,
Yeah, then
it's
nobody else can. So the whole movie is like him trying to bring her somewhere safe, to be taken care of. And it's like the whole city or town he's in is war torn. So he has to go through like, rebels fighting and
it's
soldiers.
like the apocalypse at the same time.
Yeah. And there's this like kind of emotional scene in the movie where, when everyone sees this woman who is pregnant, the rebels versus the army, they all like drop their guns or like they stop the fighting.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they let them pass through.
Sounds like a good movie. I might watch it.
Yeah, very good movie. Very like, well done. Recommend it. But yeah, anyways, I don't think we're there
that,
yet.
yeah.
But as you said, the threat is very much real. But yeah, to end it all, what can we do collectively to avoid further long-lasting consequences? So,
I mean, just the things we discussed, right? Just staying healthy overall, being, more conscientious about this type of threat that does exist, that we're not necessarily, like it's hard to say, but, just being aware of these things, like
awareness
what kind
is the
of
first step.
products you're using on a day-to-day basis, what kind of what are you doing to stay healthy, what are you eating, what are you how are you interacting with society in general, are you living near pollutants, like there's so many things you could think about.
There's a lot of factors. I know it can become kind of like, head spin and like, man, I can't think of all these different things, but you can start one by one, tackling one issue at a time, and you can always improve yourself
Exactly.
a little bit every day. But personal, improvements aside, there needs to be a societal change as well.
Right.
Government regulation. What she suggests in the book, she says we need to be more proactive in how these chemicals are released into the market. So basically, the responsibility should be on the companies before producing these chemicals to prove, are these safe for humans?
Yeah,
And
right.
then we can release it. Because now it's just, release it, and if we find something bad, then we'll take it out of market and, study again. And
How do you call that again? Where there's like they withdraw their product, like a
recall.
recall. That's the word I was
Yeah,
looking for.
exactly. Yeah, let's release, and if there's something, we'll have a recall.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, she says it shouldn't be that way. It should be the other way around. Prove yourself that you're good, and then we'll let you.
Yeah, there should be some regulations in that sense for sure.
Yeah. But for that, there needs to be more awareness, which, we're doing a podcast so people can talk about this and spread it around. And
Yep.
yeah. But anyways, long topic.
Yeah, it was a good one though. It was
Yeah.
interesting. A lot of funny
A lot of funny, I didn't
bits.
think was
Yeah. No, I knew this was going to be a fun one.
really. Just because we're talking about sperm, can't you be mature for once, dude?
I mean, it's bound to have some
Yeah, I know.
thought-provoking parts,
Jokes.
jokes, and yeah.
It's all right. Make it fun. Yeah, even if it's a scary.
Yeah,
Thing.
got to make light of the situation a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, comic relief. But anyways, yeah. I guess that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I mean,
Yeah.
no, that's it for me.
That's it. Yeah. Anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed this episode and learned quite a bit about EDCs. So yeah, that'll be it for this episode. So if you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment, like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. Try to release an episode every single week as much as we can. You can also listen to us on any of your favorite streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher.
We're everywhere, guys.
Everywhere, exactly. We're the everywhere chemicals. No. We're the good ones. But yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Catch you guys on the next one. Thanks a lot.
All right, take care.
Play us out.